Hey guys, hi Vishnu. Hey Rahul. Am I audible? Is my voice clear? And is the screen visible? Great, great, great. How are you guys? Vishnu says nervous about some exams. You are in second year, Vishnu? Why are you nervous and haven't prepared? Open textbook exam. Yeah, open textbook exam now. Either everyone scores 20 out of 20 or everyone scores 10 out of 20 or 5 out of 20. It's like that. Either everyone finds out the thing in the book or nobody finds out. Don't be too nervous about it. Which subject's exam is? Okay, you are studying theory of computer. It is theory. Is it theory of compilers or is it theory of computation? I had both the subjects. Okay, nice, yeah, nice. All the best for the exam. Let us wait for a few more minutes and then we'll start. Karthik says, sir, I'm having a trouble with vector. I understand logic clearly and syntax, but still somehow not able to get to solution generally. Karthik, problem solution and vectors are two different things. Are you able to get to the solution using 2D arrays or 1D array in the REPL or in any other code editor? No, efficiency will come when you have solved many problems, right? Efficiency will come slowly by slowly. If you think the very first day you go to swimming and you become Michael Phelps, that's not going to happen. Efficiency will come slowly by slowly. Observation will come slowly by slowly when you are solving multiple problems in a single day, right? If you are thinking that on the very first day you would understand vectors and you will start solving the problem like you read the problem and yes, I know the problem. No, that is not going to happen if you have just started. Wait and relax. Wait and relax. It's a long process. It's going to take time, right? Give it time, give it patience, give it some months, give it a year, and then after the year, see where you were and where are you now. Okay, don't be impatient, yeah. Don't be impatient. Okay, Karthik. And same with you, Mamoon. Try to be patient and solve many problems. If you're not able to solve one problem, give it as much fight as you can. And what you can do, let's say for an example, you solved a question, okay? You solved a question, or let's say I explain the question. So what do? Make a Google Doc, write the problem name, and write in your own terms, in your own language, what you understood from the question and how did you solve the question, okay? Do this with every problem. And what do at the end of every week? Let's say for an example on Sunday, what you can do, you can pick up that Google Doc again and read that Google Doc. So what would happen? First, when I explain the problem, then you solve the problem, then you written a short note about the problem. How did you solve the problem, right? That was the third time. And fourth time when you are reading it on Sunday. So it will be 4 times you're reading the same problem. Then you'll get the gist out of the problem, everything out of the problem, right? So this is the one trick you can try to do. I did it in my third or fourth year to remember some problems which are tough to remember some patterns. So this is the one way you can do it. Write the same problem again and again. Right? Write the same problem. There's a problem, you have solved the problem. Solve that problem again and again from sketch. Hey Dinakar, write the problem, solve the problem, erase the problem, then again solve it. This is how you're going to be efficient in syntaxes, in writing the code. As soon as you become efficient in writing the code, then your whole attention towards would be solving the problem, finding the solution of the problem, right? So this is the 2-3 ways you can try to achieve the efficiency in writing the code. Okay, Karthik? Yes, Kaustav. So today's agenda is we'll be solving 2 to 3 more problems. Okay, and today is the last class of arrays. So yes, today also we are going to solve 2 to 3 more problems on arrays. It would be combination of patterns and arrays. Any doubt from previous classes, from previous arrays classes? Any doubt to anyone? Yes, guys? Any doubt? Otherwise, we'll start. Mm, okay, Dinakar. Dinakar says there's a problem in assignment in homework, merge to sorted arrays. Dinakar, actually, I put the problem, but now I think that problem would be discussed when I would be discussing 2 pointers. Okay, so since you have solved the problem and you have sent me the code, I'll reply you in personal, and then we'll discuss the problem when it comes in 2 pointers. Okay, unique element I'll try to do it today. Karthik says, sir, will you be taking one more lecture on array for more problems? So Karthik, previous lecture we already did some problems on 2D arrays. In today's lecture, we'll again do some problems. I don't think so there is need of another lecture. Do all the assignments and homeworks given to you, and if a doubt class is needed, that we can do. Because as previously I told you, or maybe I do not remember if I told you this or not. 2-3 class of arrays would be taken in the DSA section also. The good problems, the very, the problems which you cannot think of in the very first try. Those problems, 2-3 class on those problems would be taken in the DSA section. So those problems are quite different. These problems are to make you use to the arrays, make you solve the arrays, make you write the code of arrays, right? So these are those basic problems. The advanced problems or the problems which are tough will be taken in the DSA section after your development classes. Sure, Kaustav, sure. Okay, any more doubts or shall we start? Shreyast, I can arrange doubt class, but let us first do the game thing in the next week, and then we can see if we have a scope of one single class. I can definitely take a doubt class on not on the assigned days like Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Other than these days, if everybody is ready, I can take a doubt class on, let's say, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday or Sunday. But taking a class on these 3 days and taking away our actual assigned class would make the schedule much tighter. So let us see if we can do. Send me the doubts. So first of all, send me the doubts, then I'll see if doubt class is actually needed or not. Now, Shiz, you are saying that we can do the doubt class today. I'm not sure what you are saying, Shreyas. Let me just unmute you. Yes, Shreyas, what are you saying? Hey,
Actually,
Shreyas, you are unmuted.
yeah, I was saying that today can take a doubt class.
No, today we'll be having 2 to 3 problems on arrays.
Yeah.
Okay, and at the end, if time permits, I can take the doubts if you guys have doubts. There's no problem
Okay.
in that.
Okay.
Okay, so let us do the 2 3 problems which I have arranged for today, and then we can have doubt class, or we can have a doubt session at the end of the class. Okay.
Okay. It will be
Okay.
great.
Great. So let us start, guys. So problem number 1 for today. Is my screen visible? At the iPad screen? Great. Problem number 1. It is a problem for the assignment of the previous class. The problem is rotate the array by 90 degree. Let us take it as clockwise. Rotate the array by 90 degree clockwise. So let us quickly take an example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So do one thing. Yes, rotate a 2D array. Yes, rotate a 2D array by 90 degree clockwise. Okay. So what you can do, write this example on your notebook and just tilt your notebook 90 degree. And then you can realize that actually if you rotate this particular 2D matrix 90 degree, it will become like this. It will become like this after rotating it 90 degree. Yes, guys. Right. So this particular 2D array has been rotated. This particular 2D array has been rotated 90 degree, and this is a resultant array. So I need this as the result. I need this as the result. So yes, can you observe something? Tell me your observations, or how we are going to solve this problem. Tell me, guys. Yes, Dinakar, right. Absolutely right. Dinakar, Google तो नहीं किया ना while solving the problem? Right, Rahul, right. Exactly, Samvid, exactly. Right, Karthik. So most of you have got the idea and most of you have got the observation. See what we are actually doing, we are taking the first row and making it the last column. First row has been made the last column. Second row had been made the next column, and the last row has been made the first column. Yes, guys, can you observe this? Let us take a bigger matrix. Let us take a bigger matrix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And it is also given the matrix would be n cross n. That is, the matrix would be a square matrix. Okay. So now what I want to do, I want to rotate it by 90 degree. So after rotating it by 90 degree, the matrix would become like this. So what has happened here? What has happened here? The first row, the very first row has become the last column, and subsequently the same has been repeated for the remaining rows. Now the next row goes to the last second column, third row goes to the second column, and last row goes to the first column. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see this? Yes. So what can we do? What can we do to find this solution? We can take an additional array. We can take an additional 2D array. Yes, guys. We can take an additional 2D array, pick the first row, put it into the last column. Right? Yes, guys? Can we do that? Is it possible? Is it easy? Can you guys do that thing? Great. So what we are doing, we are taking the element from here and putting it into the last column. So if I have A0, let's say this is the first row, and let's say J. If I have this, I want to transfer these elements to my last column. To my last column. This will be my rows and to the last column. So this would happen with the very first row. This would happen with the very first row for all the elements. Yes. Can you guys write the code for this? Can you guys write the code for this? Quickly write it in your notebooks and tell me. We can take time. Quickly write it in your notebooks, the code for this. Taking up the row and shifting it to the last column. Yes, Vishnu? Yes, guys. Write the code and tell me. Paste it into the chat. Rahul, as you want, as you want. It's your choice. If you want to do it in vector or if you want to do it in 2D array, whatever you want. Vectors and 2D arrays are just for the explanation. Now you use whatever you want to use. Yes, guys, what would we do? I have got only chased code. Let us so chased. First of all, chased first problem is it will not go to less than equal to call. 0 to less than equal to call. You are actually, yeah. Do not do that mistake ever. Okay? It is the mistake we usually do, but just remember, do not do that mistake. Okay? Great. So what you are taking A of col minus J. Okay. Okay, you are going column by column, picking the row, and just transferring it. Shreyas, I doubt that your code is actually not correct. It's working. How is it working? J is less than row, A of 0 and 0, and it is 0. So we're pushing actually. Let me quickly check, Shreyas. I'm not sure your code is working actually. I don't think so, yaar, Shreyas. Your code won't work. How is? अच्छा, coal minus. ठीक है. Fine. Yes. You're definitely fine. I just mistook it. Yeah. Yes, guys. Can you write the code for this? Can you write the code for this? Okay. So let us write the code which Shrestha has given us and see if it works or not. For I equals to 0, I is less than call, I plus plus, then he has taken a vector. Assume a 2D vector has been initialized. Vector temp for int j equals to 0, j is less than row, j plus plus, and then he does temp dot push back a of call minus j I, and eventually he push it into back to the 2D vector, and this is how he is building X. So what he is doing, he's traversing from 0 to call and 0 to row. So since call and row are same here, so it doesn't matter. Since n cross n, both are same here, so it doesn't matter. So we have to see how he is actually using the indexes. So he is using I for the columns. He is using I for the columns and call minus j for the rows. Call minus j for the rows. So let us see how he is actually traversing. So for the very first case, what would be the value? In the very first case, what would be the value? A, call minus 0 and 0. This would be his value. Will it work, Shrest? Will it work? This will give us A of call of 0. Yes, guys, will this thing work? Yes, Shrest says no. It's the code of Shrest. Exactly. This thing won't work because it will give me segmentation fault. We do not have an index call. The last row is represented by row minus 1, or the last column is represented by call minus 1. Yes, guys. So this would definitely not work. This would definitely not work. So what we can do, we can adjust it by writing just at minus 1. We can write minus 1 here. So what he is actually doing, he's accessing its element from the last row actually. Since it is call minus 1 minus j, he is accessing its element from the last and just trying to push as we push into an array, right? So what he observed that can we do, rather than visiting like this, can we visit it like this and push it into this? Yes, guys, do you understand this thing? Anybody who doesn't understand what he is doing, he actually found out, here, let us see, we only want to push in the new vector like this only. So he saw how he is actually traversing, how he should actually traverse this particular array. So 13951. So he observed, okay, this array should be traversed like this. This array should be traversed like this so that we can push it into new array like this. Anybody has any doubt in this? Anybody has any doubt in this? Yes, guys. Any single person who says, no, I don't understand. Yes. So can you now, by taking an extra array, can you solve this problem? The other way which you might have done is, I will go in this particular array, I will go like this only. In this particular array, I will go like this only. But in this particular array, I will fill it like this. Try this also, okay? We have done the other way around. We have done the other way around, that we have filled in this array like this, and we have traversed this array like this. Now what you do, we actually just want to traverse this array like this. So in that case, you have to fill it like this. Yes, guys. So try this approach also. It will actually allow you how to access these things, how to manipulate the array, how to actually traverse the array in any given way. Yes, guys. Will you do this thing? Great. So now tell me, now my question is, now somebody says, yeah, I do not want to use the extra array. Now somebody says, I do not want to use the extra array. No extra array. No extra array. No extra 2D array or no extra 2D vector. Whatever I want to do, I want to do in the same particular array. In the same array. Now what? Yes. Anybody has any suggestion? Vishnu says swap. Swap what? Sambit says swap. Okay, swap what? Right, Vishnu, right? Exactly. That's one way of doing it. That's one way of doing it. Let me quickly write the solution in the question again. Yes, guys, think about it. What we can do? This is my array, and this will be going to this. What I want to do, I do not want to take any extra array. I just want to do the changes in this array only, in the same array only. That is what we can say. We can say it in place change. Sometimes it is written in the question in place. In place means that you do not have to take the extra memory. You have to just replace, you have to do changes in the same array only. Okay. Swap twice. Swap which elements, guys? Swap which? Swap, I understand the meaning of swap, but swap what? Vishnu, I understood your, yeah. I understood your thing. I am asking Tanvi and Sambit. Swap what? There are two ways of doing this question in place. There are two ways of doing this question in place. Diagonally, first 0, 0 and 0, 4. Okay, little bit there, Tanvi. Yeah, you are closer to the solution, but not exact solution. So there are two ways to doing this. So first of all, observe what is happening. My 1 was here, and my 1 reached here. My 1 was here, and my 1 is reached here. So we thought, yeah, ho sakta hai. It's quite possible 1 is actually swapped by 4. 1 is actually swapped by 4. If that was the case, we can directly swap and the question will be solved. But what happened? We saw no, 13 is here. So it is not actually swapped. Okay, then we start observing more. What we observe, that actually 4 has moved from here to here. 4 has moved from here to here. 1 has moved from here to here. 1 has moved from here to here. And 4 has moved from here to here. Can you guys observe it? Yes, 90-degree rotation. While doing 90-degree rotation, this border point has come to that border point, right? And in the similar way, 16 has moved to this position. 16 has moved to this position. And in the similar way, 13 has moved to the position of 1. 13 has moved to the position of 1. Ayush says the corners do a 90-degree rotation. Why only corners? Every element do a rotation, right? Every element do a rotation. Observe in the similar way. Where my 2 is? My 2 is here. So my 2 has gone to this place. Right? My 2 has gone to this place. And where my 8 has gone? My 8 has gone to this place. My 15 has gone to this place. And my 9 has come to this place. Yes, guys? can you see this thing? That we're actually moving 4 elements only. There is a cycle formation of 4 elements. The 4 elements are connected together and only they are rotating about their positions. Yes, guys, can you observe this thing? Observe this thing for every other element. Whatever you want to test every other element. Let us take 6. Let us take 6. This is 6. Where 6 have gone? 6 have gone here. So 6 have rotated like this. 7 has gone here. 11 has gone here. 10 has gone here. Now, can you observe one more thing? That there is rotation among outer cycle, among outer boundary numbers. Then there is another rotation within another inside layer. Yes, another rotation. Then there is another rotation, and we keep on iterating inside for all the inside layers. Yes. If let's say this was your array or this was your box, as you rotated 90-degree, won't this will be rotated, this will be rotated, and this will be rotated within themselves? Yes, guys. Is this observation clear to everyone? Is this observation clear to everyone? Now you would say, sir, okay, you have told us about this observation, but how to observe yourself? Now the only way to observe yourself is write certain examples. Write this example for n equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then eventually you will realize, okay, something is happening like that. These observation doesn't come naturally. You have to write certain examples on the notebook, and then eventually you will realize what is happening. Okay, guys? So now we have to code it. So can I say, what is this 0, 0? Can I say 0, 0 is actually going to 0, n minus 1? Then 0, n minus 1 is actually going to n minus 1, n minus 1. And n minus 1 and n minus 1 is actually going to which position? Tell me, this variable will go to which position? This particular number will go to which position? Right, exactly. N minus 1th row and 0th column. In the similar way, it will move to this place. So this is a kind of cycle, right? Now, in the similar way, let us quickly write for 0, 1. Where it will go? 0, 1. It has a shift of 1 here. Observe some more thing. It has a shift of 1 here. It will be having a shift of 1 here, but in the row. So 1, n minus 1. Now, this element will be going towards this shift here. So again, this shift would be happening inside the columns. So now I would be going n minus 1, n minus 2. And can I write this n minus 2 as n minus 1 minus 1? Yes, guys. And now again a shift of 1. So now this element come to a position which is n minus 2, 0. Yes, guys. N minus 2, 0. So can I say that I have to actually perform a loop for this much number of elements and find their next position? Can I say that? So actually I have to move from 0 to n minus 2 elements only. 0 to n minus 2 elements only. Because this element will actually receive this element, okay? Can I say this thing? Yes. I do not have to go till n minus 1. Why? Because this element is actually coming from this. We only have to decide the position for these elements, not the last one. Last one will automatically divide it subsequently. Yes. So if I am able to find out the position of outer layer, by some logic, can I say the same logic will be repeated for the inside layer? can I say the same logic will be repeated for the inside layer? What would change only? What would change only? Yes, guys, what would change only? The starting point and this length. The starting point and this length. Right? In the similar way for the next one, again starting point will be changing and the length. Yes. So in this case, tell me how many times actually I will be performing this one logic. If I am writing the logic for this outer layer, how many times I should perform that logic? Right, Vishnu, right? If I am writing this inner logic, how many times I should perform that inner logic if there is n number, n cross n matrix? If there is n cross n matrix, tell me, if I write a logic for outer layer, the same logic should be repeated how many times so that my complete matrix gets rotated? Let me give you a hint. In one logic, I'm actually getting rid of 2 rows. In one time, I'm actually getting rid of 2 rows. In one time, in one logic, I'm actually getting rid of 2 rows. So every time 2 rows will be done. Every time my 2 rows will be done. So actually how many times I have to perform? Right round. Dinakar, think about it. Right, Tanvi? You have actually posted on everyone's chat and now everyone knows the answer. So see guys, if I get the logic for outer layer, I just have to repeat that logic for n by 2 times. The reason being, in the very first logic, in the very first iteration, I will be able to fix the positions of these 2 rows. Yes. The next time I will be able to fix the position of these 2 rows. And the next time I will be able to fix the position of these 2 rows. So in one time, I am able to fix the position of 2 rows. There are total of number of n rows. So can I say I'll only have to perform the same logic n by 2 times? Anybody has any doubt in this thing? We know, first of all, is this clear that the same logic will be done for every layer? Yes, this is clear, right? This is clear. Now we have to find out, since we have to run a loop, this is there, see in this case, there are only 2 rows. There are only 2 layers. This is one layer and this is my another layer. And the n is 4. Yes, guys. So I know I get a logic for a layer. I know I got a logic for layer. Whatever logic we'll write that. But now I also want to know how many layers are there so that I can run a loop. Right? I can run a loop. And inside it, I can perform the logic. But I want to know what are the values here, what are the condition here, what are the initialization here. So now I know that I should go from 0 till n by 2. Yes, guys, and perform this logic, whatever logic it has. Anybody has any doubt in this? Yes, Shrest, I can repeat one more time. So first of all, the very first thing to think about is, here, understand this, that we have to go layer by layer. First of all, tell me this, Shrest. Is this thing clear that we have to go layer by layer? Anybody has any doubt in that? Why we are going layer by layer? Anybody has any doubt in that? Let me just quickly explain it why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right? Why we are going layer by layer? Because this thing, let us assume this is the layer. This thing will be rotated in that outer layer only. This thing will never move inside this particular thing. Rotation happens. This will either move at any place in this layer only. Do you guys understand this thing? And we have found out that this place will go here, this will go here, this will go here. Similarly for every element, this will go here, this will go here, this will go here, and this will go here, right? If I can find out a logic, if I can find out a logic for this outer layer, कि how we are going to place the element, how should we rotate it, अगर मुझको वो logic मिल जाए, if I can get the logic, can I repeat the same for next layer? Can I repeat the same for next layer? Yes. Okay. So we know there is a repetition happening. We know there is a repetition happening. But now the question is, how many times I should actually perform that logic? So let us say there is a, let us say there is a logic, there is some logic which will actually place these elements on their position. That will place. Now what I want to do, I want to run a loop and perform that logic again and again. Perform that logic again and again. Now the question is, how many times I should perform the loop? Now the question is, how many times I should perform the loop? Now how to find it? How we can find out? By doing the logic one time. I'm actually deciding the position of outer elements or the one layer, and one layer consists of two rows. One layer consists of two rows or two columns. Can we say that? One layer consists of complete one row and complete two columns. Yes, a square is formed by two horizontal lines and two vertical lines. Yes, so can I say in the very first logic, in the very first iteration of logic, two layers will be decided? ठीक है, दो लेयर डिसाइड हो जाएंगी. अब in the next logic, my inner two layers will be decided. In the next logic, another two layers, and since there is only one layer, we'll take this an extra test case. In the case of 6, this would happen. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. Yes, guys. And in one time, in one logic, I'm able to do with two rows. Then in the next layer, I'm able to do with two rows. In the next, I'm able to do with two rows. Dinakar says, do we need to swap that middle single element? What do you think? We actually don't need to, right? So is this thing clear? That my loop will be going from 0 to n by 2? ये clear है? So how n by 2? See, there were n rows. It's mathematics. See, there were n rows. Okay, there were total n rows, and n cross n was the dimensions of the matrix. There were total n rows. In one logic iteration, I was able to fix two rows. I was able to fix in the very first iteration. मैं ये वाली रो को completely fix कर दूंगा, ठीक है? But ये वाली सारी rows अभी completely fix नहीं हुई, इनके बस थोड़ा part fix हुआ है, right? So in one logic iteration, I am able to do two rows. So can I say one row will be done approximately half logic iteration? So how many time it will take for n rows? N by 2 logic iterations. Can I say this? Yes. और एक और चीज है, अगर इसको डायरेक्टली ऑब्जर्व करना चाहते हो, नॉट बाय मैथमेटिकली, सी वी आर द स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट इज दिस. At the very first point, starting point is this. Now the starting point will move to this. This will become my starting point. Now where will my starting point will move? Nowhere. There are only two options. it is actually covered. This wala point was actually covered when I covered this. This wala point was actually covered when I covered this. Yes, guys. So are we on the same page on this thing? Anybody has any doubt now? Anybody who doesn't understand? Yes, guys. We have a very easier approach than this, but I actually want to highlight this so that you can see that, yeah, these kind of observations are also there. These kind of observations. At the end, the solution I am going to discuss is very easy. So now the point is, we got this loop. No, Mamoon, no. Mamoon saying, sir, but every layer will have its own logic. Mamoon is saying, sir, every layer will have its own logic. Mamoon is saying, sir, every layer is actually having its own logic. No, you will see why. We'll see why no. Now the point is finding this logic. Now the game is finding this logic. So understand this thing. Right? So now I know this element would be going to this position. ठीक है? This element would be going to this position. तो अब बाहर वाली लेयर को भूल जाओ. So actually what is happening in outer layer, this element is going to this position. And this one element is taking one shift here, and this element is actually going to this position. Yes, Mamoon? Is this correct? इतना समझ में आया? Right. Now forget the outer layer. Forget the outer layer. Let us suppose my outer layer is done. Let us suppose my outer layer is done. ठीक है? Now I am again remaining with another kind of square. ये भी तो एक छोटा क्वेश्चन ही है. Isn't it the same question? Isn't it the same question? Now this is my starting point. What has changed? This has become my starting point. And it will move to this position only. This will move to this position only. This will move to this position only. This will move to this position. One shift, one shift, one shift, one shift. So same logic again. Same logic again. I am done with this row also. I am done with this outer layer also. Yes, guys. I am done with this outer layer also. We are remaining with this. Again, same logic. I picked here. I picked this element. This will be shifted to this. What is happening? There was this much size. There was this much size. Then there was this much size. But the logic is same. That the first element is moving to this last position. And this element is actually moving to this position logically. Isn't it, Mamoon? The same logic will be happening here. That this element will be moving to the last position. Since there are no elements in between, we just have to move these elements only in this case. So only two things are changing. Only two things are changing. My starting point and my length. My starting point and my length. तो उस लॉजिक के अंदर can I say one thing? उस लॉजिक के अंदर can I say one thing? कि let's say these are the elements. These are the elements. Can I say one thing, guys? कि मैं इन एलिमेंट्स को पिक करूंगा. पहले इस एलिमेंट को पिक करूंगा और इसके कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग चारों एलिमेंट्स को पिक करके बस रोटेट कर दूंगा स्वैपिंग करके. फिर इस एलिमेंट को पिक करूंगा, उसके कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग चारों एलिमेंट को, क्योंकि चार ही एलिमेंट है, एक ही बार में चारों, उसके लिए लूप लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. वी डोंट नीड टू राइट द लूप. चार एलिमेंट के इंडेक्सेस उठाएंगे, आपस में स्वैप कर देंगे, इस वाले को इधर शिफ्ट कर देंगे, विल शिफ्ट दिस वन टू दिस प्लेस, दिस वन टू दिस प्लेस एंड दिस वन टू दिस प्लेस. फिर इस वाले को उठाएंगे, उससे चार एलिमेंट आ जाएंगे, विल अगेन गेट द फोर एलिमेंट्स यूजिंग दिस, then we'll again get the four element using this, we'll again get the four element using this. So we just need to perform for these particular elements. इसके corresponding चार element, इसके corresponding, इसके corresponding, इसके corresponding, इसके corresponding, और उनकी position decide करनी है. Yes, guys. Anybody has any doubt? So another loop has been decided. With this observation, actually another loop has been decided. The outer loop was, I will do this. The outer loop was this. Now inner loop is, did I just need to access these elements? This I need to access these elements and correspondingly swaps. So I just need to go from j is equals to 0 to j is less than n minus 1 j plus plus. Can I say this? Yes, guys. So I just need to go, and now I have to access the corresponding four elements. Now I have to access the corresponding four elements. Now what is the problem? छोटा problem छोटा छोटा कर करके हम इस point पे आ गए. Now I need to know how n minus 1. Okay, Roshan says how n minus 1. So Roshan, understand this thing. Length will reduce. We'll see how length is reducing. We'll see how length is reducing. So Roshan has a very valid point. Roshan has a very valid point. Ki, sir, for I equals to 0, I am going till j is equals to 0 to j n minus 1. Okay, fine. I am definitely fine with it. But next time, तो length reduce हो जाएगी. Next time, तो length reduce हो जाएगी. So why I am still going from 0 to n minus 1? Yes, guys. Why are we moving from 0 to n minus 1 still? Was the thing we wrote right or wrong? Tell me. Kind of, Roshan, yes. Roshan says, sir, guys, did you understand the question of Roshan? Roshan says, sir, I understood completely कि first time में तो n minus 1 element होंगे यहाँ पे, तो हम 0 से n minus 2 तक चले गए, I understand clearly. But next time तो size तो कम हो जाएगा ना? Next time तो size तो कम हो जाएगा. So why are we still going from n? Why are we still going to n minus 1? Yes, exactly. He is absolutely right. We'll be going till n minus I minus 1. एक एलिमेंट कम होगा ना यहां से, एक कॉलम कंप्लीट हो चुका है, एक कॉलम कम होगा वहां से, एक रो बढ़ रही है तो एक कॉलम भी कम हो जाएगा, राइट? Also now I would not be starting from 0th column. Now I won't be starting from 0th column. I will be starting from the first column. एक रो का शिफ्ट हुआ है, कॉलम का भी शिफ्ट होगा. So rather than starting from 0, I will actually be starting from I. Yes, guys. Is this clear? Roshan picked a very valid point which I wanted to pick. Somebody should pick. Thank you very much, Roshan. Anybody who doesn't understood what has happened, why we did it j equals to I, and why we did it this. Okay, Karthik. Karthik, what we did, we did this for int equals to j less than n minus 1. So this loop actually fixed. This loop actually fixed कि every time ना 0 से n minus 1 जाना है तो n minus 2 elements को मैं access करूंगा every time. Is it clear, कार्तिक? इतना clear है कि ये loop क्या कर रहा है? What is this loop is actually doing? Right? So now the point is in first layer there are n minus 2 elements. Okay, great. But in the next layer, 2 elements decreased. Or actually 1 element decreased. The size has been decreased. So why I am still going from 0 to n minus 1? Why I am still going for the same number of elements? Understood, Karthik, or shall I repeat? It is completely fine if you want me to repeat again. Understood, great. So that is why we'll be going from I to n minus I minus 1. right? Now the headache is only one thing. Finding the indexes of the corresponding four elements. Finding the indexes of corresponding four elements. Okay, that is the only headache we have. Then what we can do, if we are able to find out these 4 points, if we are able to find out the position of these 4 points, do you understand what's the problem currently in hand? Anybody who doesn't understand कि क्या अब क्या problem बचा है? Now the problem is कि okay, I understand कि I have to do these particular elements, but मुझे ये correspondingly चारों elements की position तो निकालनी पड़ेगी ना? Yes. So let us assume these are the 4 elements, and how to swap them? तो ये वाला एलिमेंट इस वाली पोजीशन पे जाएगा, ये वाला एलिमेंट इस वाली पोजीशन पे जाएगा, ये वाला एलिमेंट इस वाली पोजीशन पे, ये वाला एलिमेंट इस वाली पोजीशन पे. सो व्हाट कैन वी डू? एक को टेम्प में लेना पड़ेगा. ये समझ में आ रहा है तुम लोगों को? That we actually have to take one variable into a temp variable, otherwise swapping won't happen. Let us say if I pick this element and write it here, it will overwrite. Either we have to take it into temp. Swapping में every time we need a temp. Yes guys? Yes. So let us decide one thing. Here, let us take this element into temp. We can use swap function. You can use swap function or not here. No, you cannot use swap function here. Swap function works for two elements, or it will actually replace it by memory. You can use swap function, but what would happen wrong is so actually Karthik, understand, you do not want to swap these two particular elements. Na? If this is A, this is B, you do not want to swap these particular elements. What you want to do? I want to put A here, B here, then if there was C here and D here. We actually want to do cyclic swapping. We actually do not want to do swap between two elements only. Or what you want to say, Karthik, is let us, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. So swap A and B first. This is what you want to say. So B will come here and A will come here. So A's position is fixed. Now swap B and C. So C will come here and B will come here. B's position is fixed. Now swap C and D. So D will come here, C will come here. And eventually all the things are done. Yes? Yes, you can definitely do that also. Okay, or otherwise what you can do? You can do one more thing. Store this A into temp. And put this D here. Then put this C here. Put this B here. And eventually put temp here. It is kind of the same thing, yes? Guys, do you understand both of the things? What we did, we stored this particular element into temp. So now this position is ready to be filled. Yes, now this position is ready to be filled. So what I did, I picked this element and I filled this position. Now this position is ready to be overwrite. अब हम इसको overwrite कर सकते हैं क्योंकि इसका element already जा चुका है. So what we did, we picked this element and put it here. Right? Now this element is free. Now we can do something here. Now we can add something here. So we pick this element and put it into right position. अब ये वाली position overwrite करने के लिए खाली है. लेकिन यहाँ वाला A तो हम already overwrite कर चुके हैं. But before overwriting, we actually stored it into temp. And actually what we'll do? We will give the value of temp to here. Is this clear? Is the both thing clear? How we are going to do both? How we can have both the options? Yes? So now the only problem is getting these elements or getting these indexes. Yes, this is the only problem. Now let us say this is my I comma j element. Let us say this is my I comma j element. Right? How I comma j? because my loop is going from I equals to 0 and j is correspondingly same. तो initially क्या होगा, I 0 होगा, j 0 होगा. So can I start, can I say this element is I comma j? Can I say this thing? Every time what would happen? Every time what would happen? मेरा I यहाँ पे है, j यहाँ पे है. जब मेरा I यहाँ पे जाएगा, when my I goes to here, my j will also go to here because it is starting from I. So this particular element is my I comma j. Now this element would be transferred to a particular element. This element will be transferred to a particular element. Can I say this element will definitely be transferred to the last column? Yes. Can I say this particular element will be definitely transferred to the last column? पहली रो का एलिमेंट पक्का लास्ट कॉलम में जा रहा है. Can I say this thing? So I know the column. I know the column. Anybody has any doubt in this? I know the column that the very first time it will go to n minus 1. It will go to n minus 1. But every element, if we are going to the second layer, this element, let me draw it here again. In the very first layer, this element will go to n minus 1, right? This element will go to 0th column element will be going to here. But in the next layer, one column has already been done. So this element will not go to n minus 1. Rather, this element will go to n minus 1 minus 1. Can I say n minus 1 minus I? This is I is actually storing कि हम कितना shift ले चुके हैं, कितने rows या कितने column हम actually done कर चुके हैं. If this column is done, who is actually taking its count? I is actually handling the count, right? So can I say that it will go to this column, n minus 1 minus I? Yes, guys, can I say this? Now the term ki which row will it go? In which row will it go? Now understand this thing. यहां से जितना shift होगा, the shift from here will be shift from here. Yes, if this is my row, if this element has two shift, this element is two places away from start, then this element would be placed two places away from this position. Can I say? Yes, guys, we have seen this. We have seen in this example. इस एग्जाम्पल में हमने देखा था कि if there is one shift of this, यहां पे भी एक shift होके होगा. Every element is shifting like this thing, right? So, which particular variable is handling my shift? Which particular element is handling my shift? Which particular variable? J ही तो J0, J1, J2, J ही तो इन एलिमेंट को ट्रेवर्स कर रहा है. So can I say my row will be J? Yes, guys. It is quite tough. I know this thing is quite tough to understand. But if you understand, great. If you don't, go and watch the class again. Or maybe whatever solution I'm going to present after this, you're not actually going to look towards this. That's why I discussed this first. Now let us try to find out the position of this element. In the similar way, guys, try to find out the position of this element. And this element. First of all, this element. ये वाला एलिमेंट अब कहां जाएगा? Try to find out the row and column. First focus on row, then focus on column. Or first focus on column, then focus on row. Anybody who wants to tell me the answer where it will go? Christy says, sir, why it can't be I instead of J? Christy says कि सर यहाँ पे I क्यों नहीं हो सकता J के? The reason behind is Christy, I is actually just handling कि हम कितनी row already कर चुके हैं. Let us see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 elements are there. Okay, Christy. Now, if I am in the very first layer, my i's value will be 0. My i's value will be 0, and j will go like this. J equals to 0, j is 1, j is 2, j is 3. Right, Christy? Now, this element will be having the same amount of displacement in this column. जितना दूर ये यहाँ पे है, in the same way it will be in this. So how can I tell it that no, pick the row I cannot tell it. I can only tell it here there is 0, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. If I write j here, if I write I here, I doesn't represent which element is this, which position element is this. I is 0. अगर हम यहाँ पे 0 लिख देंगे तो 0 n minus 1, it is fine for the first case. It is fine. Yes, but if I pick this element, this element will be placed again here. If I is 0, 0th row. बट जितना इसका शिफ्ट हुआ है उतना ही तो यहाँ पे भी शिफ्ट चाहिए ना, उतना ही शिफ्ट मुझे रोज में चाहिए, द शिफ्ट विच हैज बीन डन इन द कॉलम्स, द सेम शिफ्ट इज रिक्वायर्ड इन द रोज. अंडरस्टैंड इन दिस वे, राइट? So that is why I cannot be here. J is here. J is actually representing columns and I is actually representing rows. So now guys tell me, this element would come here, this element would come here, this element would come here, this element would come here. So every element from this column is shifting to the last row. Every element from this column is shifting to the last row. And currently my last row is n minus 1. But when there is an inner layer, when we are working on the inner layer, my last row will be n minus 1. This will be my last row. Yes? So won't it be the row in which this element would be positioned? Yes, guys? Yes, Rahul. Rahul, there is a simple mistake in this. Now we have fixed the row. Let us focus on the column. See, this element goes here. This element goes here. This element goes here. This element goes here. So they are having the same amount of shift, which was here. ये एक एलिमेंट दूर था तो यहां भी एक एलिमेंट दूर है, यहां भी एक एलिमेंट दूर है. Yes, guys, but this time it was away from the starting. It was away from j equals to 0. J equals to 0 से 3 एलिमेंट दूर. But this time it is away from j is equals to n minus 1. j is equals to n minus 1 से थोड़ा दूर. And कितना दूर? वो j represent करेगा. That will represented by j. The column shift is represented by j. Now this time my column is shifted from the last column. Last column से j displacement. Do you understand this, guys? So won't it be like this? n minus 1 minus j. This represent last column. And this represent displacement. कि कितना दूर शिफ्ट होएगा, कितना दूर जाके प्लेस होएगा. Anybody has any doubt in this? Fast, guys, we are actually moving late. Yes, guys, anybody has any problem in this? No? Now if there is no problem, get me these indexes. At least 5 to 6 people. If there is no problem, then you should be able to find out these indexes. Yes, guys, with the same logic, displacement logic, try to find out कि last row वाला element definitely किस column में जाएगा and how will row will be shifted. Now what we have to see, this is the last row. This last row is going to be definitely placed in some fixed column and then row shifting will be happening. Roshan is right. Roshan is absolutely right. Mamoon is absolutely no, Mamoon, a little bit of mistake. Yes, Shrest. Yes, Tanvi. Yes, Christy. If you understand, tell me. what will be this pair of indexes? If you understand, tell me what will be this pair of indexes. Think about it, guys. Yes, Shiz, take your time, think about it. Right, Karthik, absolutely right. Yes, Tanvi. Okay, let me. Okay, Roshan, I'll repeat it. Yes, Sarah, a little bit of mistake. Yes, Vishnu, right. So let us see again. Let us see again. Tanvi is saying, sir, can you explain n minus 1 minus j? Yes. So guys, see this. My I variable is actually telling me what? कि very first layer में हम this layer पे काम कर रहे हैं. हम we are working on the outer layer, right? I equals to 0 means we haven't done any layer yet. We are working on the very first layer, right? In the next case, my I will become 1. My I will become 1. In the next case, my I will become 2. My I will become 2. Right? So in the very first case, I'm actually working on I equals to 0 in the first layer and I equals to n minus 1. And the n minus 1th row. And the n minus 1th row, right? In the next case, I am working on first row and n minus second row. Or can I say n minus 1? Last row से एक row ऊपर. From the last row is done. So one row is away. One row has been subtracted. So n minus 1 minus I, can I say this thing? Can I say this thing? Then we'll be working on this row. Right. Now understand one more thing. How J is working. How J is working. J is actually helping us. J is actually helping us to pick elements. To pick elements which are certain position from here. This is J is equals to 0. This is J equals to 1. This is J equals to 2. This is J equals to 3. This is J equals to 4. Right? If I want to decide this position, J will come into the factor, na? Not I. J will come into the factor, not I. So, let's say if I want to decide the position of the elements in the first row, if I want to decide the position of the elements in the first row, ये वाला element कहाँ जाएगा? This element will go to every element of first row will go into the last column. Is this clear? Every element of the first row will go into the last column. ये clear है? Yes? Yes, Tanvi, is this clear? Great. So now every row, तो मेरा column fix हो गया. मेरा column fix हो गया, which will be last column. My column is fixed. Yet it will be my last column. Now I have to see which row. Now I have to see which row. The row would be, यहाँ पे 0th column में था, तो ये 0th row में रहा. यहाँ पे first column में था, तो it will take a shift of 1, it will go here. In the first row. यहाँ पे second column में था, तो यहाँ पे मतलब second column में था, तो यहाँ पे second column में गया. यहाँ पे third column में था, तो यहाँ पे third column में गया. Everything is just picked. Everything is just picked and placed like this. तो जितना डिस्प्लेसमेंट स्टार्टिंग में था उतना ही तो रहेगा ना यहां से भी. Yes, guys. And my displacement is told by which variable? Which variable is actually focusing? J is telling me na कि 1 unit, 2 unit, not I is telling. Element की sequencing. The sequencing of element will remain same. The sequencing, we picked this and we did this. We had a horizontal line and we just made it vertical, right? So sequencing is same. Sequencing is same. If this was just rows has changed to column or column has changed to rows. तो यहाँ पे अगर ये फर्स्ट कॉलम में था तो यहाँ पे फर्स्ट रो में रहेगा. तो मेरी रो कैसे डिसाइड होगी? मेरी रो जे से डिसाइड होगी, isn't it? For the very first positioning, ये क्लियर हुआ? ये चीज क्लियर हुई कि जे और लास्ट कॉलम, ये क्लियर हुआ? J comma last column. Forget. Yes, Vishnu, you are right. Forget about the code. Tanvi, Christy, guys who asked me the doubt, tell me yes or no. Yes, guys. Yes, Tanvi. Yes, Roshan, I know you got it. I want everyone to reply now. Just confused with the manipulation of columns. Christy, see this thing. This was a horizontal line. This was the horizontal line. I'm picking every element. I'm picking every element and I'm just making it vertical. Just making it vertical, right? And the sequence of elements will remain same. The sequence of elements will remain same. If a particular element is j is equals to 0, j equals to 1, j equals to 2, or at 0th position, or at first position, or at second position, it will remain at 0th position, first position, second position. Yes, इतना clear है? Yes, तो J क्या बता रहा है? J बता रहा है कि कहीं भी पुट करने से how my values are changing, right? How much displacement is happening. Now, here J is actually signifying my columns. Here J is actually signifying my columns, right? But now this horizontal line has been converted to a vertical line. Now, this J will actually represent my rows. This J will actually represent कि कौन सी position होगी vertically. And these are rows. This J is every time telling me, this J is every time telling me which position is it. Which position is it? So ये row number 0 थी, ये row number 1 थी, row number 2 थी. So can I say my J will help me to find out which row is it? Which row this element will be placed in? Yes. Now the matter of column. Now the matter of column. मुझे column find out करना है. So can I say this? Every element from the first row, every element from the first row will be placed in the last column only of that layer. Yes. तो J comma last column. इन सब के नए indexes मिल गए हमें. We are trying to find out the new indexes of these elements. Are we able to find out the new indexes of these every elements? J comma last column. Yes, Tanvi, do you understand this now? If not, please go again and see the video by just, step by step, okay? So we got J comma last column. And now we will fill the value 5 first while changing. Then we will, okay, you understood, great. Now, one more thing. This was the last column for the last layer. This was the last column for the last layer. For this layer, my last column will be shifted by 1. This layer, my last column will be shifted by 1. So can I say that this layer has n minus 1 minus 1? This layer will be having its last column as n minus 1 minus 2. So can I say this? Last column will actually be n minus I minus 1 or n minus 1, which was my last column, and minus I. I is representing कि initially 0 columns complete हुए थे. जब एक column complete हो गया, when one column has been complete, I की value 1 बन गई. So एक column complete हो चुका है. So now my last column will become n minus 2. So n minus I minus 1. Yes. Yes. So we are able to find out this. We know this is I comma j. अब ये कैसे निकालना है? अब ये कैसे निकालना? Quickly find out करते हैं. So the point is, now this. These elements are to be moved in this row. These elements are to be moved this. Yes, Mamoon says I compensates for column. I compensates for column or row. I compensates for column or row. Okay. These elements are to be moved this. So vertical elements are going to be moved horizontal. But now what happens? My last position or my first position is actually n minus 1. Column wise, my first position is actually n minus 1. तो अब वो 0 1 2 से शुरू ना होके n-1, n-2, n-3, n-4 बन गया. Yes, so this is why now these elements are in column. Now we have to decide the column. Column is varying. My row is fixed. My row is which row? The last row. n minus I minus 1. And this I help us to compensate for the row. कि अगर मैं next layer में जाऊंगा ना तो एक row already done हो चुकी होगी. So this I helps me to adjust the last row. Okay, and J always help me to adjust the positions of element. So the position start from n minus 1. Position starts from n minus 1. And 1 displacement, 2 displacement. This will be held by J. Yes, guys. In the similar way, these elements are now going to be placed at these positions. These elements are now going to be placed at this position. Now my column is fixed. Which is the very first column. But the column number changes. The first column is here 0. The first column is here 1. The first column is here 2. So my first column depends upon I. Sorry, this is column. Yes, my column depends upon I. These all elements now will be inputted in this column. So column is fixed for every element. What will change? Their rows, their positions vertically. And it will start from n-1, n-2, n-3. So again the same thing, n-1 minus j. Okay, yeah. If you are not able to understand this, please watch this lecture again. Please watch it step by step. Okay, please watch it step by step. You will be able to understand this thing. Is it fine, guys? Now we got the indexes of 4 elements. Now we just have to swap this element inside this. Swap these 4 elements. ठीक है, इसका कोड लिख लोगे. ये ऑब्जर्वेशन क्लियर था? Yes, guys. Will you be able to write the code inside it? Swapping ही करनी है बस. You have the indexes. You just need to swap it. Okay. So now let me move to approach number 2. Let me quickly move to approach number 2. I know this was a very difficult observation, but you have to observe it. Okay. Now the observation is transpose में क्या होता था? What used to happen in transpose? We pick our first row and we make it as first column. We pick our second row and we make it as second column. We pick our third row and we make it as third column. We pick our fourth row and we make it as fourth column. Yes? Is this what happened in transpose? Right? अब क्या हो रहा है? अब observe करो. We started with this question. We started with the question with an idea that my first row is becoming, when I am doing 90-degree rotation, my first row is actually becoming my last column. My second row is actually becoming last second, last third, and last fourth. So what is actually happening? First, second, third, and fourth. Yes, guys. Reverse ही तो हो रहा है बस. Can we say first take transpose and then reverse the columns? Take transpose and reverse the columns. Can we say this? ये idea clear है? Take transpose and reverse the columns. Is this idea clear? How will be reversing the columns? हम reverse कैसे करेंगे? Did we understood reverse the array problem? तो ये एक्चुअली में एक एरे तो है. इस वाले को यहां लेके आना है, इस वाले को यहां, इसको यहां और इस वाले को यहां. So this is an array only. This is an array only. Yes. Anybody has any problem in this idea? Let us quickly take an example and understand. You will be implementing this idea only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The desired output is this. 1, 2, 3, 4. First row is actually made last column and subsequently like this. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So ये desired output है. ये desired output है. So before that I am saying just take the transpose. Just take the transpose. Transpose is like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right? Now what is happening? बस reverse ही तो करना है. इस पूरी रो को पिक करो और रिवर्स कर दो. Why we are able to do this? Because we found out कि जो कॉलम यहाँ पे फर्स्ट आ रहा था ना ट्रांसपोज में, the column which was coming first in the transpose is actually coming last. It is only the reverse of columns. यही रिवर्स करना है बस. Is this concept or is this observation clear? When I know, I just have to reverse the column. I will pick this first. I will pick this first and do my reverse logic problem, reverse the array problem. ये एक array है, इसको बस reverse करना है. ये एक array है, इसको reverse करना है. ये एक array है, इसको reverse करना है. ये एक array है, इसको reverse करना है. Yes, Karthik, I am not saying कि swap vectors. I am not saying swap vectors. Pick this first vector and swap elements. Okay. And even though what you are thinking of कि सर ये वाला पूरा पिक करके इससे स्वैप कर दूं, ये तो वेक्टर ही नहीं है ना. वेक्टर तो हमारा ऐसे बना हुआ था. अंडरस्टूड कार्तिक? इफ व्हाट यू आर थिंकिंग इज कि मैं इस वाले वेक्टर को पकड़ के इस वाले वेक्टर से स्वैप कर दूं, दैट इज व्हाट यू आर थिंकिंग. यस कार्तिक, दैट इज व्हाट यू वर थिंकिंग. बट एक्चुअली दीज आर नॉट वेक्टर्स. वेक्टर्स तो रो थी ना. वेक्टर्स तो रो थी ना. Understood? So guys, can you do this? Can you write the code for this? अच्छा, now there should be a question. सर पहले swap करके फिर transpose. पहले swap करके you want to swap this with this and then transpose. Try this. Try this. You can definitely try this. It's quite possible. Just try if vector swapping is possible or not. Okay, Karthik. Karthik is saying, sir, what I can do, I can swap first and then take the transpose. It will be result into the same thing. Try. You can try that, guys, also. Okay. Now, Gurleen's question is, first of all, Gurleen, I'll come to the question. Now, if you guys remember, in the last class, when I was discussing transpose, we actually took an additional array. We actually took an additional 2D array or additional 2D vector. Yes, do you remember it? हमने सेम में चेंज नहीं किया था. But today I am saying you can change it into same. Why? This solution take no additional time complexity or no additional space. This space take no additional space. We can do it in the same array. But in the previous class, I told you guys कि additional space लेना ही पड़ेगा. We have to take a new vector or we have to take a new 2D array. New 2D vector, new 2D array. Can anybody tell me why we are able to do this in place in this question and why we were not able to take transpose day before yesterday? Can anybody observe something? I started the question with that thing. We are actually changing the values. Yesterday I refused you guys कि no, you cannot directly swap. No. Why? Let me tell you what did I say yesterday. I said कि there is a metric A and its dimension is n cross m. Its dimension is n cross m. So for an example, there is a matrix with 4 rows and 5 columns. 4 rows and 5 columns. And the new matrix will become m cross n. New matrix will become n cross m. So my initial was like this. My initial matrix was like this. A new matrix the transpose will become like this. The transpose will become like this. तो metrics ही अलग है ये दोनों. If these two metrics are different, how can you just use the same metrics, right? But in this question, there is a constraint or there is a thing. I started with, there is a thing. This is a square matrix. This is a square matrix, guys. Yes. So definitely now we can actually, this matrix will now 3 cross 3 will remain 3 cross 3. We can do swapping to do transpose. Is this clear? Anybody has any doubt in this? Now one more thing Gurleen asked, what's the time complexity for this or what? So time complexity is what we are doing. We are actually accessing these elements, right? And how we are actually accessing? By writing two nested loops. By writing two nested loops, guys. And this loops go from 0 to n. This loop go from 0 to m. In this case, both are n. So how many iterations this nested loop takes? We discussed it before. How many iterations this nested loop takes? N square iterations. N square. So the time complexity for this code is n square. You will first take n square to find the transpose. When transpose is done, when you got the transpose, when you have to reverse, you are again doing the reverse thing for all the rows for I is equals to 0 to n and inside the columns only. So this will again be another loop, another nested loop of n square. So you can say 2n square, but since we do not consider the constant factor, this is n square only. Yes, Gurleen, is this clear? Great. Let us quickly move to a very, very good problem here. Forget this, whatever I have told. Get out of this problem. So can we say that for our first method has lesser time complexity? Vishnu, it will be just a factor of 2. It will be just a factor of 2 only, nothing else. In that case also, we were actually not much factor. क्या कर रहे थे हम 0 से n by 2 में जा रहे थे. But we were doing 0 to n by 2. And then here eventually we were going from 0 I to something, right? But inside we were also using 4 operations. So you can say that actually I am doing n square, 2n square nahi hoga. That's the only difference. No other difference in that. How can I say that? We actually have to access every element now. We actually have to access every element. So how many total elements are there? N square. So definitely n square time complexity will definitely be there. Yes, Vishnu? Great. So guys, clear your mind. This question is a very good question. Another question. Last question for today. The question we discussed took very long. So problem number 2. Guys, one more question, please. Then the class is over. Okay, guys? So the question says, you have to, this is spiral pattern 2 in your assignments. Okay. The question says, let's say if n is 5, you have to print it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yes? What we are doing? Spiral. What we are doing? Spiral. Yes? काफी अच्छा क्वेश्चन लग रहा है. Is it very nice question? Can you think of a pattern here? कोई पैटर्न नजर आ रहा है? This is a spiral pattern. Can you think of a pattern here? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ठीक है, first row में तो नजर आ रहा है. I can see in the first row it is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, last row is also 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. बीच में क्या हुआ है? It's something random. We usually print pattern like this way. We print this thing, we print this thing, we print this thing, we print row by row, right? Row by row. can you find some common thing in row by row? Is there any similarity in row by row? Is there any formula or any relation row by row? Yes, we print row by row always. On the terminal, we always print row by row. If somebody says, sir, cannot we do just like you printed? Cannot you just do just like we did here? We just print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we print 6, then we print 7. But as soon as you print 6, this whole row is printed by either spaces or anything else. This whole row, you cannot access it again. Yes? The addition of first element except last row. I don't think so. Right, Vishnu, that's the significance I'm telling you. Can you guys appreciate this thing that we cannot just print it like this? 1, 2, 3, 5 and this. This space cannot be accessed again. Yes, guys. So that is why we'll be needing a 2D array or vector to store our pattern. Well, maybe we can move like this in 2D array or pattern. We'll be doing it something like that only, Vishnu. Yes, guys. Can we say that we definitely need to have a 2D vector here so that we can store this position and then we can print the whole 2D vector or 2D array? Because there is no pattern as such. There is no pattern as such. Previously, when we printed this pattern, there was a pattern. There was a pattern. But now there is no pattern. If I am trying to go like this only, there is no pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 16, 17, 18, okay. 15, 24, 25, 20, 14, 23, 20. There's no pattern, I think. As this is 5, somebody is saying like, sir, we can find out the pattern. As you increase n by 6, 7 or 100, there will be no pattern. It will be random values kind of thing. Do you understand this thing? Why we need a 2D vector or 2D array here? Because we can do what this question is actually doing. We can move like this in the 2D array. We do not know how we are going to do that also. But no, we can store the values like this only. We can store the value like this only and eventually print the 2D array. Guys, I need responses. Then only I can move forward. Yes or no? Great. So let us see how or what we are going to do. Let us see how or what we are going to do. Now guys, see what is happening here. On the similar grounds as the previous class, on the similar ground as the previous question, what are we doing? We are actually forming the last layer first. Then we are forming the inner layer. Yes, guys. Then we are forming the inner layer. Yes, can you observe this thing? We're actually forming the outer layer first. Then we are forming the inner layer, then the inner layer, then the inner layer. Yes, can everybody observe this thing? Okay, so one thing I know, I can use something from the last question. I can use something from the last question, right? Now what I can use? Can I say, I'm first placing n minus 1 elements like this. Then I am placing n minus 1 elements like this. Then I am placing n minus 1 elements like this. And eventually n minus 1 element like this. Can I say this thing? Yes, guys. This is the observation. कि something is fixed. कि I am placing n minus 1 element like this. पहले मैं 1, 2, 3, 4 n minus 1 elements को ऐसे horizontally print कर दूं. then n minus elements, 1 elements को ऐसे print कर दूं, then n minus 1 elements को ऐसे, and then n minus 1 elements को ऐसे. Right? There is something in common in this. Yes. How can I do this thing? Let us not focus on the inner layers. Let us not focus on the inner layers. How can I do this thing? So what I can do, can I just write the horizontal loop first? Right, Vishnu, right. Then a vertical loop, then again a horizontal loop, then again a vertical loop. Right, Tanvi, right, absolutely right. Yes, guys, can I use 4 loops? Can I use 4 loops? Or we can also use 1 loop. I'll be talking using 4 loops only. There is another solution or similar kind of solution on that only. In that solution, what we do, either we can use for loop, or we can use 4 variables for directions. 4 variables for direction, which will say कि मैं 0,0 coordinate से start करता हूँ. I'll start from 0,0. Then I'll move horizontally n minus 1 times. Right? Then I will change my position. Then I will change my direction. ठीक है? When the direction is 1, I will increase my x coordinate. ठीक है? When my direction is 2, that is vertical or downwards, when my direction is this, I will increase x or y. This is x or this is y. When I am moving when I am moving like this, will I increase my x or will I increase my y? This is x comma y. Yes, guys. Shrey says x. It is x comma y. It is x comma y. And I am moving like this. This is row. This is column. Will I be increasing my x or will I be increasing my y? Yes, I'll be actually increasing my y. I'll be actually increasing my y. When I am going down, what I'll be doing? When I am going down, let's say I have reached from x dash some y dash. Okay, but when I am going down, what I'll be doing? I'll be increasing my x. Yes. What will happen when I am going this horizontally backwards? What will I be exactly? Now I'll not be increasing. Actually, I'll be decreasing my y. I'll be decreasing my y. Now what happens? Now what happens? Now what I'll do in the last upward direction? Will I not be decreasing my x? Will I not be decreasing my x? So there are 2 ways to do this question. I'm going to discuss one way that we can write 4 loops. We can write 4 loops. 1 loop to go horizontally forward, 1 loop to go vertically downward, then horizontally backward, and then vertically upwards. Yes. So initially, can I say my initial position is x equals to 0, y equals to 0? Yes, guys. Now I have to go horizontally forward. So can I say for int I equals to 0, let us take L as length, the length which we have to move forward or horizontally, vertically or diagonal, backward, vertically or from bottom to top. So this is the length which we have to move. So in the very first case, how much length we have to move? How much length we have to move? N minus 1. N minus 1. So I'll be moving from 0 to L and doing I plus plus. I will be moving from 0 to L and I will be L plus plus. And should I take another variable, let's say int x, which will keep on increasing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is the actual value which we want to store. Can I say this thing? Every time I move, will this value be incremented by 1? So let us initialize it by 1, int x equals to 1. And every time I move, it will be incremented by 1. So this is the loop. This is the loop for horizontal forward. Horizontal forward. In this loop, first of all, I'll store my value. X, this is my value, that's a value. A of x of y is value. Right? Now I have to do 2 things within this loop. Now I have to do two things within this loop. Tell me which things. I'll have to increase the value because next time the next value will be stored 2. So first of all, I'll have to increase my value. Also, I want to move forward. I'll also have to increment my y. Yes, guys, is this horizontal forward loop clear? Now, after moving horizontally forward, we'll move vertically downward. Same, we moved L units here, we'll move L units here only. So we write another loop for int I equals to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. This is the movement, this was this movement. So now first of all we'll keep on developing a 2D array so that we can eventually print it. So a of x of y is value, again value plus plus, and now this time we are moving downwards, so we actually have to increment x. So can I say x plus plus? Yes guys, anybody has any doubt? अभी रोक दो, फिर आगे जाने के बाद फिर प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. Anybody has any doubt? Anybody has any doubt? No? So let us quickly copy this loop only. ठीक है, in this loop, now only one thing will change. What will change? Everything will remain same. Only one thing will change. This time, no shift. You are wrong. Do not just hurry. Write Tanvi. Y minus minus. Right? Y minus minus. This is my this movement. This is my this movement. And now let us quickly write another loop. In this case, only one thing will be changed. This will become x minus minus. This is my upward movement. Yes, guys? Is this clear? Is this thing clear? Now, this is one movement. This is movement of one layer. Yes, guys? We only have moved our outer layer. Now we want to shift to the next layer. Yes, now I want to do my next layer. Then I want to do my next layer. Yes. So again the same point. How many layers will we be doing? How many layers will actually be doing? If this is of n cross n would be there. So how many rows? N by 2 rows. So can I say this is the whole logic of movement? And I have to repeat this logic n by 2 times. Can I say this thing? Yes. So what I am doing, we'll have to repeat this whole logic int j equals to 0. Since I have already used I inside the loop, try to use the different variable, okay? So that these two variables do not match each other. So j is less than n by 2, j plus plus. Will this code work now? Yes, guys, tell me. Will this code work now? Or is there some problem in it? People are saying yes. Great, guys, great. Shall I slow clap for you? Understand, see the question. See what is written. Right. Rahul is right. One thing is, sir, previously we were traversing L, now the length will be decreased. So one thing is absolutely right. The length will be decreased. Okay. One thing is, length will be decreased. So, okay, you only tell me by how much my length will be decreased? By how much my length will be decreased? Right, Tanvi, right. Absolutely right. What is this, Vishnu? I don't understand. See, guys, my length will be decreased. Previously, I was traversing this much number of element, right? Now, this element and this element has already decreased. So my number of elements are actually decreased by 2. Since we traverse this whole outer layer, can I say this element and this element is actually gone? So size of this particular thing is decreased by 2. Can I say this thing? No fancy formulas, guys. No fancy formulas. This will not require any fancy formula. We definitely know every time this whole length is decreased by 2. We know this thing. Every time this whole length is decreased by 2. Yes. So eventually, can I do this thing? L minus 1 equals to 2. At the end of performing one layer, can I just update my L? Yes. Is it fine? See the code. Is it fine? Any other mistake? Or is there still mistake in the length only? Roshan says no. What's the mistake, Roshan? Absolutely, Roshan. Roshan says, sir, declare L outside the loop. Why, guys? See, Roshan is saying, sir, declare L outside the loop. क्यों कह रहा है रोशन ऐसा? Why Roshan is saying this thing? Because every time this loop will start, it will be redeclared. It will be redeclared. Every time it will be redeclared. So that is why we should pick this element from here and put it outside. ऐसा नहीं करते, नॉर्मल कर लेते हैं, ज़्यादा टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज नहीं करते हैं. Int L equals to n minus 1. Yes. There is one more problem still. Observe it. Okay, length की problem sort out हो गई है. There is one more problem still. Value is always incrementing here. Value will keep on incrementing. No problem in value. Yes, there is one problem. Yes. The value should be also moved outside. Yes, guys? Otherwise, it will initialize again with 1, right? Right, Rahul, right. Rahul has got the point. Vishnu, what? Elaborate more. Try to find out the problem. Okay, values problem is done. Length problem is done. One more problem. Observe it, if you can observe it. Exactly, Tanvik. Exactly. See, right, Vishnu. Some people are saying, sir, why we are actually starting from 0, 0 again? ये तो बार बार सेम लेयर को प्रिंट करता रहेगा. लेंथ कम हो गई है, लेकिन we haven't moved inside. Yes, guys. We haven't moved inside. It is x equals to 0 and y equals to 0 again. Now, after doing one complete rotation, I should move from 0 to 1, 1. This is done, this is done, this is done. I should move to 1, 1. Isn't it, guys? But as soon as I complete my loop, I will again make x equals to 0, y equals to 0. So tell me, what should I replace it with? Right, Shrest? Right, Tanvi? Tanvi will only increment x. There will be no effect on y. Right. So 2 people have got there, and you must have heard me, so you must have also got there. So what we need to do, we need to also shift my position, the starting position, right? So we also need to make this thing not 0. We actually should make this thing as j. Isn't it, guys? Yes. Now my code is absolutely fine. Isn't it? Is my code absolutely fine now? Achha, try to do this for n equals to 5. Try to do this for n equals to 5. How much time my outer layer will work? How much time? My outer loop will be working only for 2 times. 2 times, तो क्या होगा? 5 का लिखा था ना हमने? 5 का नहीं लिखा था क्या? This is for 5. So this layer will be done. ये लेयर हो जाएगी तुम्हारी आउटर वाली, फिर दूसरी बार लूप चलेगा, फिर मेरी ये वाली लेयर हो जाएगी। अरे 25 तो रह ही गया। मैंने आई जस्ट कंप्लीटेड 2 लेयर्स, 25 तो रह गया। इन प्रीवियस केस, इन प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन इट वर्कड because I just want my middle element to be there only, right? But in this case, currently this is an empty place. I want to fill 25 here. Yes, guys. Do you understand the problem which is still remaining? Anybody who says no, sir, मुझे समझ नहीं आया, what's the problem? Yes. Now tell me, no, Dinakar. Now tell me, will this problem also happen? Will this problem also happen when n is equals to 6? Try to think. Will this problem also happen when n is equals to 6? No. So it is only occurring for odd elements. So what we can do, even if somebody is saying कि सर ऐसा करते हैं, इसको ना इक्वल टू से शुरू कर लेते हैं, इस लूप को इक्वल टू तक ले जाते हैं तो 3 तक हो जाएगा, फिर इट इज फाइन। 6 के केस में भी डिवाइड बाय 2 3 ही बार चलेगा। तो आई अग्री विद यू कि ठीक है, इक्वल टू तक ले जाते हैं। बट गाइज अंडरस्टैंड वन थिंग, माई लेंथ इज ऑल्सो डिक्रीजिंग बाय 2 एवरी टाइम। माई लेंथ इज ऑल्सो डिक्रीजिंग बाय 2। जब तुम इस वाले में आओगे ना तो लेंथ 0 हो जाएगा। Initially my length was n minus 1, which was 4. In the case of n is equals to 5, initially my length is 4. It is decreased by 2, it will become l equals to 2. It is again decreased by 2, it will become 0. तो ये वाले लूप्स एक्चुअली एग्जीक्यूट ही नहीं होंगे, 0 के लिए लूप चलेगा ही नहीं, तो एक्चुअली में स्टिल 25 प्रिंट नहीं होगा। Understood this whoever said Dinakar? Yes, Dinakar understood this. ये करने का कोई फायदा ही नहीं। So what we actually should do after completing whole thing, we just write a condition here. If my n is odd, then you should do a of x and y, or if my x and y are not here, if my x and y are not present here, a of n by 2 should be equal to my current value end में 25 ही होगी। Yes guys, understood this, why we did this? And eventually print the 2D array or return the 2D array or return the 2D vector, whatever is required. So now ये गंदा सा दिखने वाला पैटर्न, this horrible pattern, are you able to do this in just simple way using loops and logics? Are you able to observe this thing? Yes? Is it fine now? Before it was looking, yeah, what the hell is this thing, right? Dependent upon this thing, there is one more question in the assignment which says if n is equals to 4, you have to print like this. ज़्यादा बड़ा हो गया। If n is equals to 3, let us do this. If n is equals to 3, you have to do it like this. If n is equals to 3, you have to print a pattern like this. This question is pretty print. Now, can you solve this question? Anybody who says कि सर नहीं अभी भी मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा कि ये क्वेश्चन कैसे होगा? Can you observe something? Great, Vishnu, great. Yes, guys, can you see what is happening here? How it is related to the previous one? Yes. The only difference here is, we were moving like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here, like this. But in this case, the only difference is 3 is printed outwards. 3 is printed, then 2 is printed, then 1 is printed. That's the only difference. Isn't it, guys? So solve this problem also. Solve this problem also. And there is, either you can do this thing by this, or there is one more observation which is very difficult to observe in this question. Which is very difficult to observe. Which is very difficult to observe. The observation is, you need to print an element. You need to print, let's say n is equals to 3. But what you want to print, at every position, you actually want to print n minus minimum distance from borders. Minimum distance from borders. See, the minimum distance from border for this element is 0. For all these elements, minimum distance from border is 0. So what I am printing? N minus 0 for all this stuff? Yes. For this element, what is the minimum distance from any border? 1 here, 1 here. This is very huge. This is very huge. Yes. Similarly for these elements. For this element, what is the minimum distance from border? This is 2. So n minus 2 is 1. So now I can just traverse like this and fill every element. Now a of ij is equals to n minus minimum distance from border. Minimum distance from border. Now you no more have to go like this. You can just go like this and fill every value by this. Yes, guys? Is this clear? No, it is not clear. Okay, let us take another example. 1, 2, 2. Somebody says no, yaar. Somebody says no. So I have to explain. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. This observation is quite difficult to make until someone don't tell you this is quite difficult to make. वैसे तो in the previous question it was also DC. So Dinakar says how to find the minimum distance from the border. Okay, Dinakar. So if I say I'll have to print this element. Can I say if n is equals to 4, it is nothing but 4 minus minimum distance from border. So distance here is 2, distance here is 4, distance from this side is 4, and distance from this side is 2. So can I say this element is nothing but n minus distance from border? ये observation समझ में आया? Forget how to find minimum distance from the border. ये observation समझ में आया? Now the problem is how to find the minimum distance from the border. This is another kind of problem which you should yourself solve. So let's say this position is I comma j. What will be its leftmost border? Can you tell me the index of its leftmost border? Yes. Can you guys please tell me कि अगर कोई भी particular element है I, j, what is the index of its leftmost border? Yes, Roshan, you are right. Shresht, do not forget in 2, 4. Just tell me in the terms of I, j only. Right, Tanvi, right. Absolutely right. No, Dinakar. Think about it again. This is ith row, jth column. Leftmost border will be in the same row. So row will remain same. No, Mamoon. It is not j minus 1. No, how? The leftmost border, let's say this is an element. The leftmost border is this. So row remains same of the particular element, but my column became first, the very first column, which is 0. I, 0. Yes, Mamoon. Yes. Now I know I comma j ka left border is I comma 0. What is the bottom border? Tell me, I'll come to your question. What is the bottom border? Tell me quickly. What is the bottom border? Yes, Dinakar, yes, Mamoon. Then we absolutely right. Dinakar, a little bit of mistake. Now the last row is n minus 1. Last row is n minus 1. Border तो last पे ही होगा ना, border तो end में ही होगा. So I know last row n minus 1 and the column will remain same. Column will remain same, n minus 1j. ठीक है, what will be this rightmost border? What will be this rightmost border? This time do not make mistake, yaar. This time do not make mistake. Please tell me this thing absolutely correct way. Right. This will be I comma n minus 1. In the similar way, column will remain same. The row will be the very first row. Yes. Now can you find out these different distances? क्या अब ये distances पता लग जाएंगे? You know 2 points. Can you not find out distances? Yes, Vishnu, paste it in everyone's chat, please. So this distance is what? Only j columns. This distance is what? N minus 1 minus j columns. This distance is what? I rows. This distance is what? N minus I rows. अब समझ में आ गया दिनाकर how to find out the distances? No, why the comparison will take time? Now you need to compare between 4 elements. Now you need to find out minimum out of 4 elements. Now you need to find out minimum out of 4 elements. So let us एक function लिख लेना minimum of 2 elements. एक function लिख लेना. Can I do it like this? Minimum of x1 comma minimum of x2 comma minimum of x3 comma x4. क्या मैं ऐसे नहीं कर सकता? At most कितना टाइम लेगा? 4 सेकंड, 4 iterations. Can I do this thing? Or you can write if else, whatever you want to do. So Vishnu says, sir, isn't distance from center more easier because it is just, Vishnu says, sir, rather than calculating the border distances, the pattern is कि जिस भी एलिमेंट का निकाल रहे हो ना, उस एलिमेंट का सेंटर से डिस्टेंस निकाल लो. I haven't tried this approach. Try to validate this approach, guys, told by Vishnu. Also try this approach also. Okay. If it works, it's pretty much fine. Okay, Vishnu, have you validated and have you solved this approach by this approach? Great. Vishnu is saying he has solved using this approach. So guys, write down the approach of Vishnu and see if it is valid or not. Okay. So you have for now, you have 2 ways which it will definitely work. The way, this one, outer layer, then this layer, and this way. You just have to find out the minimum distance. Try the Vishnu's approach also, okay? So these are the 3 questions we discussed today. Doubt session has been started. Okay, any doubt in today's class, any doubt in any class? प्रॉब्लम फर्स्ट रोटेशन के अंदर हमने देखा एक्स्ट्रा स्पेस लेके कैसे करेंगे. विष्णु का अप्रोच देख लो यार. व्हाटएवर विष्णु इज सेइंग, जस्ट सी दिस अप्रोच एंड सी इफ इट्स वर्किंग और नॉट. ओके, एंड देन फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी सो कि एक्स्ट्रा मेमोरी से कैसे करेंगे. देन वी सो हाउ विल डू एक्चुअली 4 की साइकिल बना के. देन वी एक्चुअली सी कि इट्स इजी, जस्ट डू ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड जस्ट रिवर्स द एरेज. And then after that we did another problem called spiral pattern. We printed the spiral pattern. We found out that we actually have to move 4 directions. This, and this. Then we wrote the loop, 4 loops, and then we eventually find out that we only have to move n by 2 times. Okay, and eventually we did the if else condition. And then at last we discussed this problem. Yes? Yes, guys. Any problem, anything else you want to discuss in today's class? Otherwise, arrays are over. From the very next class, we'll be building a game, snake game. Okay. Try to have, or please have Linux's system if you want to code along me. Okay? Try to have Linux's code systems. And from the very next class, and try to also have a editor. And I would say prefer VS Code. Okay, I would be coding on VS Code. So please guys prefer VS Code. Yes, the game is, I cannot show you the game today. It's not, the code is not present here today in this laptop. Yes, game is made up of a graphical user interface. In the very starting of the class, I'll show you the game, okay, how it is working, and then we'll move on further. The game has a proper graphical user interface where Snake is moving and it is eating. Not that much high level graphics, very basic terminal graphics. Okay, guys. Any problem in today's class? Haan, Karthik, I'll upload these notes. I'll upload these notes. Actually, I haven't uploaded the notes of previous classes also. Thank you for making me remember, yaar, Karthik. I'll upload the notes for every previous class, okay? Nobody asked, so I didn't remember to upload the notes. Thank you, Karthik, for actually making me remember this thing. Sure, Kaustav. Sure, definitely. Visit all the classes of arrays if you want to visit it again, and tell me if there is any doubt. Okay? Shay says what we require for game. Okay, just install VS Code and try to have Linux. Try to have Linux operating system or Unix operating system. You know, Mac OS भी होगा, Linux or Mac OS. If you want to, yeah, Ubuntu is fine. Ubuntu is a part of Linux only. Ubuntu is a type of Linux only. Ubuntu is fine. Any Unix type operating system. Okay, try to have it if you want to code along with me. Otherwise, even if you want to code, development is much better in Ubuntu than in Windows. There are some things which do not work accordingly in Windows as we want it to do. Otherwise, what would happen? You will say, "Ki sir, ye Windows mein kaise chalega? Sir, ye Ubuntu." So let us pick Ubuntu as an option, and we'll code in that. We'll also see little bit of commands of Ubuntu or Linux. Any Linux, Kali, Ubuntu. There are many Linuxes out there, or Mac OS, anything. I'll be writing my code on Mac OS. Okay, so I'll keep on telling you if there are some differences in Ubuntu and Mac OS regularly. So we'll be building a game on Tuesday. You just need to have VS Code and Linux. Okay, guys. Any doubts in any class? Did you uniquely one question? Uniquely existing element. Okay, sure. So whoever wants to go, you can go. I am discussing one problem because they're asking me a doubt. There was this problem, uniquely existing elements. There was this problem, uniquely existing elements. In some assignment on homework. And this problem says, we are given with an array. Let's say 1, 2, 10, 1, 3, 4, 10, 6, 7, and 6. We are given with this an array. We are given with a certain array. And you have to tell me which element uniquely exists. Which elements are unique? So which all elements are unique here? Which all elements are unique here? Which doesn't have duplicates? 2 is unique, 2 is unique, then 3 is unique, then 4 is unique, and then 7 is unique. Yes, 2, 3, 4, and 7 are unique. These are the unique elements. Now tell me, how do you find it? Normally, तुम्हें कैसे पता लगा कि ये unique है? Forget coding, just tell me how do you find out in this part कि they are unique? Right, exactly. What you did, you picked one element, and then checked in the remaining array if it is unique or not. If there is another element which exists as same as or not, right? फिर तुमने 2 को उठाया, फिर अगेन यू चेक, फिर देन यू पिक्ड अप 10, देन अगेन यू चेक, देन यू पिक्ड 1, देन अगेन यू चेक फ्रॉम द होल एरे. यस गाइस, ये अप्रोच क्लियर है? लॉजिकल अप्रोच, विच इज द वेरी लॉजिकल अप्रोच, विच व्हाट यू डू, अगर ऐसा कुछ तुम्हारे सामने पड़ा होगा, दिस इज व्हाट यू डू. नाउ यू हैव टू कन्वर्ट इट इनटू कोड. तो कोड लिख लेते हैं. So what we are going to do? We are going to traverse the whole array. We are going to traverse the whole array and pick every element one by one. Right? Pick every element one by one. रुक जा दिनाकर, just stay. Let us do this question step by step. Okay. So for int I equals to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus. This loop will be able, with this loop we will be able to traverse the array. Yes. Now we'll have to take another loop कि मैंने एक एलिमेंट पिक कर लिया, अब मुझे पूरा एरे दोबारा ट्रेवर्स करना है, चेक करना है कि उस एलिमेंट का काउंट कितना है. यस 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 और नो गाइस. So we'll take another loop, int j is equals to 0, j is less than n, j plus plus. काउंट को इनिशियलाइज करते हैं इक्वल्स टू 0, काउंट को 0 इनिशियलाइज करते हैं. अगर मुझे एग्जैक्टली सेम एलिमेंट मिल जाता है, if my ai is double equals to aj, if my ai is double equals to aj, what I should do? Count plus plus. What I should do? Count plus plus. और इवेंचुअली इस पूरी लूप के खत्म होने के बाद मैं चेक कर लूंगा कि अगर काउंट 1 ही है, अगर उस पूरे एरे में काउंट 1 ही है, तो वो पक्का यूनिक होगा, तो आई प्रिंट इट. ये कोड क्लियर है सबको? श्रेयस सेज कि सर आई प्लस 1 कर लें क्या? श्रेयस सेज सर rather than doing it from 0, can I do it from I plus 1? So श्रेयस that would also work, that would also work, but एक चीज होगी कि वो नहीं वर्क करेगा एक्चुअली. लेट्स से 1 2 1 3 4 5, ठीक है. इस केस में जब इस आई पे आए, इस आई पे आए, इस आई पे आने के बाद, ठीक है, अगर हम आगे ही चेक करेंगे तो इसका काउंट तो एक ही है, बट हमने पीछे तो चेक किया ही नहीं. अंडरस्टूड श्रेष्ठ? ग्रेट. सो दिस वोंट वर्क, I plus 1 won't work. Christy says, sir, we take a new array and take array of arrays. And what will we do, Christy, with that? उससे क्या होगा? Christy says, sir, we take a new array and take array of arrays. I don't know. Okay, guys, until Christy replies with the elaborated array, elaborated approach, tell me what's the time complexity for this? O of n square? Yes. अगर मेरे नंबर ऑफ इंटीजर्स 10⁵ है, अगर मेरे नंबर ऑफ इंटीजर्स 10⁵ है, हाउ मच टाइम इट विल टेक? 10⁻10. Yes. And it is very 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 bad. It is very 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 bad. If my constraints, अगर मेरे constraints 10⁻3 होते ना, कि n की वैल्यू 10⁻, राइट क्रिस्टी, राइट, एब्सोल्युटली राइट. सो 10⁻3 होते ना अगर n, तो 10⁻6 और ये चल जाता. दिस वाज सफिशिएंट. ठीक है. यस गाइस, ये क्लियर है कि व्हाई दिस अप्रोच वोंट वर्क. माय कंस्ट्रेंट वाज कि n की वैल्यू ना 10⁻5 थी, और ये गड़बड़ ना, ये गड़बड़ प्रॉब्लम सेटर्स से हुई थी एक्चुअली. आई वांटेड कि n की वैल्यू ना 10⁻3 ही रहनी चाहिए. ये गड़बड़ प्रॉब्लम सेटर्स से हो गई थी कि उन्होंने 10⁻5 ही रख दी थी. सो फॉर द करंट सिचुएशन मैं चाहता था कि बस तुम यही कोड एग्जीक्यूट कर दो. ठीक है. सो देर आर टू ऑप्शंस नाउ, देर आर टू ऑप्शंस नाउ. या तो मैं कल प्रॉब्लम सेटर से कह के इसकी 10⁻3 करा देता हूं और ये तुम्हारा कोड चल जाएगा, जिन जिनका कोड नहीं चल रहा था. ओके. और जो इसकी O ऑफ nth अप्रोच है ना, वो सॉर्टिंग के बाद डिस्कस कर लेता है. व्हाट डू यू से? हिंट, हिंट. क्रिस्टी, वुड यू लाइक टू गिव दम हिंट? I'll unmute you and then you can give them hint. Yes? Okay, let us see how Christy explain this thing. Yes, Christy, you are unmuted. No, Dinakar, we don't need to sort. We don't need to sort. So let us hear Christy how she is going to explain the thing here. Yes, Christy, you are unmuted.
Hello,
Yeah,
am I audible, sir?
yeah.
So actually, I took the array as for the first array, I voluntarily took the size as A of 10 raised to 5.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned it, and then the same size I took for the new array.
Okay.
जो मेरा नया array है उसके लिए भी same size लिया, and जो
Mm-hmm.
मेरा पुराना वाला array है, old array, उसका जो
Mm-hmm.
first element है,
Mm-hmm.
फर्स्ट एलिमेंट को मैंने नए अरे में डाला एंड देन आई चेक दैट इफ माई दैट इज लाइक ए एंड वो मैंने आपको बोला जो था अरे ऑफ अरेज
Mm-hmm.
आई यूज दैट एंड आई ट्रैवर्स द अरे एंड आई चेक इट्स अकरेंस
Actually, I thought you actually reached to the solution, but no, this is the not solution. You wrote the right thing there. You wrote this thing, na? A of vi.
यस सर
So this is kind of a hint to the thing, but no, sorry guys, this is not the approach, Christy. But let us discuss a hint only, okay? So
ओके
it
सर
was quite nicely explained, whatever you explained, but this is not the solution, okay?
ओके सर
Okay, okay, great, Christy. Thank you. So let us just understand the. Let us give me a hint. Let me give you a hint. So if you will see ना, तो वहां पे एक और constraint है. There is a very huge importance of constraint. कि जो मेरी AI की वैल्यू होगी ना, वो 0 से 10⁵ ही होगी. अगर इससे कुछ निकाल सकते हो तो निकाल लो. This is the hint. जो मेरे इंटीजर्स जो एरे में इंटीजर्स पड़े हुए हैं ना, उसकी वैल्यू 0 से 10⁵ ही होगी. कुछ निकाल सकते हो इससे? कोई हिंट मिली इससे? सोचो. Think about it. Whoever wants to leave can leave. Whoever wants to stay can stay. Think about it. There is another constraint present in the question. और अगर ये चीज ऐसे होती ना, AI will be from -10⁹ to 10⁹, तो हम वो अप्रोच यूज नहीं कर सकते थे. तो हम वही अप्रोच. एक और हिंट दे देता हूं. जो मेरा एरे है ना, जो मैं एरे का साइज ले सकता हूं, वो अप्रोक्सीमेटली 10⁶ तक ही ले सकता हूं बस. जो एरे का साइज है वो 10⁶ तक ही ले सकता हूं. ये 3 हिंट है यार, अगर सोच सकते हो तो. नहीं तो sorting के अंदर विल डिस्कस काउंट सोर्ट के बाद ये प्रॉब्लम करेंगे फिर. These are the three hints. और कल मैं प्रॉब्लम सेटर्स को बोल के इसके कंस्ट्रेंट्स नीचे ले आऊंगा. ठीक है. These are the 3 hints. If you can find out the solution. Anybody, कुछ आया दिमाग में? कुछ भी आया दिमाग में? किसी के भी दिमाग में कुछ हिट किया ना? कुछ हिट नहीं किया. एक और हिंट दे देता हूं. कैन आई, ये देखो ये एरे था 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. ठीक है. हमें क्या चाहिए? हमें काउंट चाहिए हर एलिमेंट का. ठीक है. तो काउंट स्टोर करा लेते हैं ना. एक बार ऐसे जाते हैं, 1 देख लेते हैं कितनी बार आया है. 2 बार आया है. 2 देख लेते हैं कितनी बार आया है. एक ही बार आया है. 3 एक ही बार आया है. और इस काउंट को कहीं स्टोर करा लेते हैं. कहां स्टोर करेंगे? एक और एरे ले लें और इंडेक्सेस का यूज कर लें वैल्यू को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए. क्योंकि मेरा एरे सिर्फ 10⁶ एलिमेंट्स का ही बन सकता है और मेरे एलिमेंट 0 से 10⁵ ही हैं. तो मैं एक एरे लेता हूं 10⁵ साइज का, 0 1 10⁵ +1 साइज का, 1 2 3 डॉट 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 2. ये इंडेक्स होगा उसका, ये इंडेक्सेस होंगे उसके, ये एरे बी है, सोल्यूशन ही बता दिया मैंने, ये इंडेक्सेस होंगे उसके। सो जैसे ही मुझे मिले मैं ट्रेवर्स करता हूँ ये वाले एरे, वन मिला मुझे, वन मिला, तो मैं क्या करूंगा, वन वाले काउंट पे जाके काउंट कर दूंगा वन। नहीं श्रेष्ठ, नहीं, नहीं, यू आई डोंट नीड एन स्क्वेयर। मैं सबसे पहले वन पे आया, फर्स्ट एलिमेंट, मैंने वन देखा, मैंने जाके वन का काउंट बढ़ा दिया। अब मैं टू पे आया, मैंने टू देखा, मैंने जाके टू का काउंट बढ़ा दिया। ठीक है, आई एम यूजिंग इंडेक्सेस एज माई वैल्यूज, आई एम यूजिंग इंडेक्सेस एज माई वैल्यूज। ठीक है, अब मैं टेन पे आया, मैंने टेन पे जाके और काउंट बढ़ा दिया। और इवेंचुअली फिर क्या किया, इवेंचुअली फिर क्या किया, इस लूप को ट्रेवर्स किया। अगर मेरा काउंट जीरो है तो कुछ भी नहीं करूंगा, एलिमेंट ही एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता। अगर काउंट वन है तो उसको प्रिंट कर दूंगा। इंडेक्सेस को स्टोर करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, इनको स्टोर करने की जरूरत नहीं है, मेरी वैल्यू ही इंडेक्स है। मुझे पता है कि अगर यहाँ पे टू है ना, तो वही मेरा इंडेक्स है टू। अगर यहाँ पे टेन रेज टू पर नाइन होता ना इस एरे के अंदर, तो मेरा टेन रेज टू पर नाइन इंडेक्स एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता, उतना बड़ा एरे में ले ही नहीं सकता। तो इस प्रॉब्लम के अंदर ये स्पेशलिटी है। अगर समझ में आया तो इट्स फाइन, अगर समझ में नहीं आया तो डोंट वरी, विल बी डिस्कसिंग दिस थिंग इन सॉर्टिंग। ओके गाइस, अगर समझ में आया तो कल तक का टाइम है, इंप्लीमेंट कर लो, परसों तरसों मैं इसके कंस्ट्रेंट कम कर दूंगा। ठीक है, अगर नहीं समझ में आया तो इट्स कंप्लीटली फाइन, बिकॉज मैंने समझाने की कोशिश ही नहीं किया, जस्ट गिव सम हिंट एंड टोल्ड यू द अप्रोच। विल लर्न दिस प्रॉपरली व्हेन वी आर डिस्कसिंग सॉर्टिंग। तो राहुल, हु सेट की सीक्वेंस मैच करना है, नोबडी सेट की सीक्वेंस मैच करना है। इवन समबडी सेइंग कि असेंडिंग ऑर्डर में प्रिंट करना था, तो ये तो अच्छा ही हो गया, असेंडिंग ऑर्डर में प्रिंट हो जाएगा। अगर सीक्वेंस में करना है तो नहीं कर सकते, राइट। फिर हम कुछ सोर्टिंग टेक्निक यूज कर लेंगे। ठीक है, एनी मोर डाउट गाइस? सर कैन वी हैव डाउट लेक्चर ऑन सॉल्विंग मोर क्वेश्चंस? कार्तिक, मोर क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम वेयर? हैव यू सॉल्व्ड ऑल असाइनमेंट्स, ऑल होमवर्क्स? आर यू आस्किंग अबाउट, तो असाइनमेंट और होमवर्क की प्रॉब्लम्स करनी है या फिर नई प्रॉब्लम्स करनी है? हाँ, यहाँ पे एक एक्स्ट्रा स्पेस यूज होगा, यहाँ पे एक्स्ट्रा स्पेस यूज होगा। Yes, definitely, Shreyas. So, Karthik, I am asking, do you want to discuss the assignment and homework problem only? कि एक डाउट क्लास जिसमें हम सारे असाइनमेंट और होमवर्क प्रॉब्लम डिस्कस कर लें, जो भी डाउट है। कार्तिक, रिप्लाई फास्ट। सो कार्तिक, जो क्वेश्चन सेट था ना हमारे पास, पूरा क्वेश्चन सेट जो वट एवर वी वॉन्ट टू गिव यू, ठीक है, दैट क्वेश्चन सेट इज प्रेजेंट इन असाइनमेंट्स एंड होमवर्क्स। फ्रॉम एरे वन टू, टुडे इज नो असाइनमेंट, टुडे देयर इज नो होमवर्क। ठीक है, फ्रॉम एरेज वन टू एरेज फोर, इन चार क्लासेस के ना सारे असाइनमेंट और सारे होमवर्क कर। ठीक है, जो हम चाहते हैं ना कि तुझे आना चाहिए वो तुझे उससे आ जाए। ठीक है, देन आफ्टर योर डेवलपमेंट क्लासेस विल बी हैविंग अगेन थ्री मोर क्लासेस ऑफ एरेज, और टू मोर क्लासेस और फोर मोर क्लासेस। उसके अंदर हम और क्वेश्चंस करेंगे, उसके अंदर हम वो क्वेश्चंस करेंगे जो एक्चुअली जॉब में पूछे जाते हैं, एक्चुअली somebody ask in the interview, right? सो ये इन चार लेक्चर्स के ना, जस्ट गो एंड इन चार लेक्चर्स के ना बस सारी प्रॉब्लम्स कर, जितनी भी प्रॉब्लम्स दी हुई, इट अप्रोक्सीमेटली 30 प्रॉब्लम्स तो होंगी, शायद 25 तो होंगी। ठीक है, वो सारी प्रॉब्लम्स कर ले, गेट एन आइडिया ऑफ एरेज, वेक्टर्स, 2D एरेज, 2D वेक्टर्स। दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, कि तुम्हें कोड लिखना आ जाए अभी। ठीक है, फिर क्वेश्चंस तो बहुत सारे दे सकते हैं। इज इट फाइन? एनीबडी एल्स हु वांट टू डिस्कस एनीथिंग? या चलें फिर, कल सुबह मैच भी देखना। चलो guys, bye bye. See you on Tuesday. पनवेल जाना है। ठीक है, गुड नाइट guys, good night, bye bye. Thank you for being there till 10:30. Good night, bye bye, see you soon.